faith is embedded in so much of what we do at this university. So when you talk about the First Amendment, we are embracing spirituality, we're embracing religion, we're partnering with people. These are all of our faith-based student organizations. So when you look at across the board, all of these groups have some roots in faith.
The University of Connecticut has dozens of faith-based organizations and student-run clubs that meet both on and off campus at different religious organizations in the surrounding towns of Mansfield. All of these clubs and organizations are rooted at UConn Faith, which provides students with mental health services, assist with food insecurity, and other educational resources.
So this is, just to give you an idea, there are 23 currently local centers of religion and spirituality that I partner with and work with very closely, and they're focused in Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Greek Orthodox. Those are kind of the four categories I put them into, because it's a little bit, many of them have different sects, and there's also when I talk about Christianity, that's everything from Catholic to Presbyterian to some of our groups that don't even have a brick and mortar place. And then also at UConn, there are 24 registered faith-based student organizations. So a lot of these groups that I work with that are external to UConn, Christina, are connected to these faith-based organizations.
UConn's most popular organizations can be seen on what is known as Church Row, located on North Eagleville Road. The road is home to the Korean Church, the Catholic Center, the Hillel House, and other big-name organizations. But for this project, I wanted to explore some lesser-known organizations at UConn. The International Christian Fellowship is a religious group based in Catholicism that brings in international students to create a community around faith, but to guide them as they navigate life in America. I spoke to leader Ruth Helturnian-Almbog, who gave me insight into what she does.
Christian Fellowship, and they were, in a sense, giving the information so that we could understand and know what it was about, and they were looking for people to support the ministry in some way, whether that was through prayer or giving or even volunteering if that was possible. And at that time I was a single person, and I thought, that it just makes a lot of sense. So the premise behind the whole idea was that we would be sharing our faith, the love of Christ, with internationals who come to the university, and do that in practical ways, meet their felt needs, meet their real needs. And I thought, well, that is a no-brainer, because people come to UConn from all around the world because it's a world-class university, and the demographic as far as the student who came 35 years ago is different than the student today. But they talked about this ministry, and I thought, well, as a single person, I could give financially. And so I started as a financial giver, and then when I got married, my husband and I have loved the ministry and decided that we could volunteer. And so then we started volunteering, whether it was cooking food or doing administrative tasks or helping with music type of things, going to events, visiting churches. And so that was like the doorway of entry into the ministry. So what we offer as a campus organization, what I offer as a campus staff person, is somebody to journey through the season of education with whoever I'm connecting with. So whether that means going to the hospital with you in an emergency, I've housed people when there have been domestic violence issues. I've visited people who've been suicidal. I've helped people figure out their leases, because leases are a pain in the neck. And a lot of internationals don't understand how binding those are and how serious they are. I've helped internationals find clothing and food and furniture. I've helped them get transport to get from one place to the other, because when they first come here, they usually have no wheels. It's basically doing life things together. My hope is that through these acts of service that people will see that I love them, and that in that love, it is a love that is beyond my human capability. My human capabilities are about that big. And so I hope that through my serving and loving them in whatever they're going through, I'm usually dealing with graduate students, usually dealing with visiting scholars, usually dealing with people who are Fulbright people, people who've been in the workforce, people who've got families they've left from their own countries, so, there are universals here, people get lonely.
These are all the ways that we partner with faith-based organizations today. And so I have regular meetings with them. I communicate with them all the time. So I'm communicating with their faith-based groups a lot. And then university trainings and workshops, they're always invited to come onto campus and be a part of what we do. We also will give them, it's also a level of support. So when we talk about faith and we're meeting with a student, we could also say to them, hey, listen, we have a strong connection to faith communities. If faith is in your life, you could consider this as an option. And we give them the website, Yukon Faith. They're involved in orientation. There's university connections in a lot of different points for faith communities. And then our bias incident notification process is directly tied to our faith-based organizations.
There are different tiers as far as student clubs. And so we were at the tier where we didn't receive any financial help. Some student organizations receive financial help. We did not go that route, partially because we felt like we wanted to have the freedom to spend funds if we had them the way that we wanted to without having to account for them and provide documentation to the university. It just seemed like it was just a cumbersome thing and less freeing. So, that was probably the main thing. That was the deterrent. Our Constitution is more than what the university requires, partially because, we agree to whatever the university requires, but we also want to flesh out more of who we are. Mm-hmm. And in that way, it shows that we are unique in how we operate, and we want to make sure, and we want to be upfront with university saying, and these are the other things that we adhere to, these are the other things that we believe, and these are the other ways that we will operate as a student organization, so that the university also knew who we were and how we operated.